Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kim. I'm a licensed and nationally certified Chinese medical provider, and today we are going to talk about the acupuncture clock again, and we're going to talk about the Second Trinity. So what's the big deal about the Second Trinity? Because this is a Trinity that I like the most. And why I like this Trinity is, you remember the first Trinity is you got your bearings, you developed your individual identity. You had input from the world, you molded around, you thought about it, you picked up your feelings about it, and then you let go of things that you didn't like. And so now you've got some behaviors and you've got some beliefs, and you know what you're going to do? That's right. You are going to walk out into the big world and you're going to start interacting with people. And you're going to take all those skill sets that you learned from your family of origin. That can be scary, but you're going to take all those skill sets and you're going to start using them and practicing them on people in the real world. You're going to learn what behaviors you learned from your family of origin that actually do work in society. Do you remember which 4 organs are in the Second Trinity? Well, we've got the heart, we've got the small intestine, we've got the bladder, and we've got the kidney, and they go in that order. And this Trinity, it starts at 11 a.m. and it goes until 7 p.m. So the Second Trinity on the acupuncture clock is it covers the whole afternoon. So the first one that we're going to talk about is going to be the heart. When your heart's open, you're joyful, you're happy, you're really accepting of other people, and life's pretty good. So let's say you go out into the real world and you're practicing some of your behaviors that you picked up from your family of origin, and they're not working really well. 2 words when the heart is out of balance. It's going to be control and it's going to be betrayal. Hey, can I show you something? The sharp knives, they go in here. They don't go in that drawer, okay? Okay, but this drawer is full of sharp knives. That's all this drawer is sharp knives. Yeah, but I don't have these sharp knives in that drawer. I have them in this drawer. I know that it currently doesn't have those sharp knives in here, but this is just sharp knives. Okay, but these steak knives have always been in this drawer. So can we just put them in this drawer? Okay, but it has these steak knives in here. Okay, but it's not these steak knives. Okay. You know you're just sounding crazy, right? Really? Is that where you're going to go with this? The next organ we're going to look at is the small intestine. And in Chinese medicine, the small intestine, its job is to further differentiate the good from the bad. And you know that with food because it's going to help you digest your meals, and it's going to assimilate what you can use, and it's going to help eliminate what you can't use. From a psycho-emotional perspective, so when we're dealing with other people, what this centers around is feedback. And so if you're dealing with feedback and you find that you cannot accept any feedback, or if you can't accept feedback, that is, this small intestine channel is just out of balance. The next one is going to be the bladder, and that's about our boundaries in life. And it's also about our alarm system. So our alarm system creates boundaries. And one of the things that our alarm system does is it tells us when things are safe and when they're not safe. Maybe walking down a dark alley at night is not safe. Not safe. And maybe your alarm system should go off and you shouldn't do that. So that's what our bladder system does for us. It talks to us about boundaries. And you know, sometimes we learn about boundaries through experience. I love sweaters. They're like my favorite things. I will save my money and buy a really nice sweater. And you know, as long as it's like 100% wool or 100% cotton or cashmere, I just love real sweaters. It's really cold outside. I forgot to bring a jacket. Do you mind if I borrow one of your sweaters? Yeah, not a problem. You want to try this one? Definitely. I would love to borrow this. Thank you so much. Whew, that was a long evening. Woo. Whatever. Is that my sweater on the ground? Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Hey, Tracy just called. Wants us to come over for a midnight movie.
Can I borrow one of your sweaters? No, it's just a sweater. Yeah, no, you can't borrow one of my sweaters. Whatever I said, I was sorry. So that's what our bladder system does for us. It talks to us about boundaries. And you know, sometimes we learn about boundaries through experience.
There's one more organ, and that's going to be the kidney. And the kidney is focused on our self-worth. And what's interesting is when I looked at this, a lot of the self-worth initially comes from outside of ourselves, from the feedback that we get from other people, from our sense of boundaries, of how we can implement our boundaries, and from where we might feel like we've been betrayed or control issues. A lot of our initial sense of self-worth comes from outside of ourselves. And how might that look? What's one way that you might find that your self-worth is impacted by other people?
Hey, I got your review. Do you have some time? Can we schedule some time and talk about it? Definitely. Do you want to do it right now? Okay, so here's your review. Now, it might not be exactly what you were expecting. You rated me as average, that I meet expectations. I hear what you're saying, yet we can't all be exceeds, right? We can't all do great. Somebody has to be meets expectation, and somebody, you know, has to not meet expectations. I had one of the larger projects. I had one of the first projects to kick off this whole implementation, and it was because of that project that a lot of the negative feedback that we're facing was eliminated. And I think I handled that really well. And I think the only reason why I was asked to take on the first projects is because I was probably one of the few managers that you had who could do that. I think maybe it would, it'd be helpful if you were more available. I've been working all sorts of extra hours. I think my average week is 60 hours. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but the reality is we can't all be exceeds. And you did a really good job this year. I wish I could have given you a better review. I wish I could have given you more, but I'm stuck too. I have to fill out reviews within these guidelines, and so I had to take everybody and fit them into these guidelines, and maybe those guidelines don't let me do what I think is best, but I hope you understand. I really think you're a great worker and you did a great job.
What could I have done better? As you're moving along on your own self-discovery, you're going to find more and more that your self-worth comes from inside of yourself, and it's not so much attached to everybody outside of you. And as you start to understand yourself more, this is weird, you actually start to understand people outside of yourself more also. And so you start to find a way that you can find empathy with other people. The one thing I really like about Chinese medicine is, I don't know about you, but sometimes emotions can be really confusing. There's times when I'm not even sure what I'm feeling or why I'm feeling that. What I do know is my actions. And this acupuncture clock, what I really like about it is its focus on your behaviors, on your actions, and not what you're feeling. So you can look at your behaviors, you can look at your actions, and you can go, something's going on in here, and I'm not sure what. I'm not sure why I feel this way. I'm not sure why I'm getting defensive, or I'm not sure why I'm feeling betrayed or feeling like I can't set boundaries. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I know through these actions that there is something going on, and I can think about the actions instead of trying to figure out what I'm feeling, because sometimes that's really hard to do. And then if you're trying to crawl back into your history and say, well, I wonder why I feel this way, that can even be more complicated, because there's so many layers that have happened since you were a young child that, you might be able to find it and you might not. So understanding behaviors, being able to identify behaviors, gives you an opportunity to sidestep that emotional thing and still improve yourself and still focus on yourself and become a better person without trying to pull apart the emotions that are attached to it. Does that make sense? Okay, so thank you guys so much for coming out and listening to this. This was the Second Trinity. It really is my favorite Trinity because it deals with our interaction with other people. And through that interaction, you're able to identify certain behaviors of yours I can identify certain behaviors of mine. And it gives me an idea that there's something going on in these different areas. And it gives me an opportunity to change how I'm dealing with that. Okay, so until next time, guys, I will catch you on the other side.